Have you formed an attachment with your abusers? Perhaps your own parents that are narcissistic and abusive, or there's some sort of other abuser in your life that you have formed some sort of attachment to and you don't know why or how to break free from that? That's what's known as Stockholm Syndrome, and that's what we're talking about in today's video. So hello everyone, my name is Autumn Masvidal, and in today's video we're going to be discussing Stockholm Syndrome, what that is, and what you can do to break free from the abusers you have formed an attachment to. Stockholm Syndrome is described as a condition where someone who was abused becomes attached to their abuser. It often applies to abusive relationships, often parent and child, but also can be domestic violence relationships, in addition to hostage and kidnapping cases. You may be wondering how it is even possible to become attached to the abuser, and how the victim will often defend the abuse being done to them, and even want to help the person doing the abuse be set free if they've been caught. This is a complex matter since the abuser uses a multitude of psychological tactics to control their victims. Fear, gaslighting, and shaming are among the top tactics the abuser will project onto their victims. Fear is used to make the victim docile and do anything the abuser wants, bypassing normal cognitive function. Gaslighting is to alter the memories and emotions involved with the abuse, and shame is to make the victim blame themselves for what is happening. All of this leads to the victim being dependent on the abuser. If you combine this with hostage and kidnapping cases, the victim is literally at the mercy of the abuser just to stay alive. An unhealthy bond is formed where the victim is now dependent on the abuser for many aspects of their life, which could include food and water. This unhealthy dependency plays tricks on the mind of the victim as they start to sympathize with them and actually form an attachment. Due to the complex and contradictory nature of the relationship, the mind of the victim is often dissociated from reality and normal thinking. The victim will often be confused as to why they love someone who is harming them. They repress emotions and memories, causing stress, anxiety, and flashbacks that haunt their daily life. These people develop post-traumatic stress disorder as a result, and often blame themselves as the ones that caused this and feel like they deserved it. Stockholm Syndrome is essentially described as an attachment that people have towards abusers. And now this can be all sorts of abusers. This can be people who are even held captive by someone and they form some sort of attachment to that individual. A lot of this comes down to dependency. People are dependent on the abuser for whatever thing that they need in order to survive. So that creates an issue there where there is this conflict within the mind that says this person is an abuser, but they're also someone that I need in order to survive. So that creates a predicament that leads to dependency and this bond that a victim has towards their abuser. The key to take away from this is the guilt they feel and the way they blame themselves. These are ideas the abuser has implanted in them, since if they were to think anything else, then they'd get in trouble or lose vital things necessary for survival. The abusers do the gaslighting and narcissistic, and are the ones that have the low self-esteem. So they extract that from their victims to make themselves feel better, but it only hurts both parties. To spot this, when you're an adult, think about your own parents. Were they narcissistic, always putting themselves before you? Did they gaslight you into thinking everything was your fault, even if you had no involvement in it? Were you victimized and blamed for everything? Yet, do you still hold on to your parents, your abusers, and can't let them go? If so, then you likely have Stockholm Syndrome. Parents that have these traits and have done this to their children want a level of control over them. When you are an adult, they want every bit of control over you as they can and will entangle themselves into every aspect of your life. It could be simple things such as listing your address as theirs, even if you don't live there, and being on their car or health insurance or phone plan to help them out in some way. They get angry, defensive, and will shame you when you try to do anything on your own or remove your name and change your address. They may say that you have to pay more and shouldn't do that. shaming you into helping them lower their costs and yours since they may be paying for you as well. They want this control, which is why they get mad when you try to escape from it. You may fall for their manipulative tactics and give in. This is because you have an unhealthy attachment towards your abusers. To break free from their control is to be independent. The abuser wants to control every aspect of your life, and you may let them until you realize the damage they're doing. Don't give them the opportunity to control you. Don't fear their wrath, since you must stand tall and proud and say that they no longer have the right to control your life. You are an independent person and must stand up for yourself. Don't be dependent on someone else, especially those who wronged you. Instead, put your attention into what makes you feel fulfilled in life. Only then, you're finally detached from your abuser and experience true freedom. Let me know how this works for you. Have a great day. So in order to break free from the abuser that has entrapped you and made you dependent on them is to recognize why you feel attached to them. If you have a narcissistic parent, if you have someone who abused you, who is a parent within your life, and you're very dependent on them, you have to be able to be independent and break free from them. That may be easier said than done because you could rely on them for a lot of things, and maybe it benefits you in many ways. Maybe they pay for certain things just so that they have a level of control over you. And that's where it all originates, because they want control over you. They want to make the decisions that are best for your life instead of you making your own decisions. They want control over every aspect of your being. So don't give them that, because all they do is take advantage of it to benefit themselves. What you have to do is be independent, stand up for yourself, and realize that you are a strong person who doesn't need that abuser in your life. So get rid of them and focus on yourself and be independent. Really curious to hear what your thoughts are on this topic. Let me know what your thoughts are. I will see you all again very soon. Thank you so very much, and take care.